Good morning. I'll call the Central Oklahoma Transportation and Parking Authority September 5th meeting to order. Items from the agenda. First thing is to introduce Angela Pierce, our new COPTA trustee. She is the Oklahoma City Finance Director, and as that position, she holds a place on our trust. So welcome, Angela. Thank you.
Thank you. Very happy to be here.
And to go along with that, I wanted to note a discrepancy on our agenda that it lists Brent Bryan as a trustee, and he is no longer the City Finance Director. He's an Assistant City Manager, and so he is listed here. And so, and then also Chris Kaufman, who passed away last February, is on the agenda, and so obviously he's not here. But anyway, are there any citizens to be heard? If not, I'll move to item 4, which is the approval of the minutes from our August 1st COPTA board meeting. Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. And there we go. Motion passes. Item 5 is the consent docket, and there are 8 items on the consent docket. Are there any items that the trustees would want to consider individually? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent docket? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item 6 is items for individual consideration. Item A is approve amendment number 1 of the Memorandum of Understanding with the Regional Transit Authority of Central Oklahoma for interim administrative services. Yes.
Yep, good morning. So this item, this MOU with the RTA, the original MOU identified the director and administrator for Embark and COPTA as the interim executive director for the RTA. And so with the promotion of Mr. Fairbrush to assistant city manager and my promotion to director, we wanted to make sure that the consistency with the RTA remained. And so this MOU essentially reorganizes the MOU to allow ACM Fairbrush to continue in that role for the RTA, and we look for approval.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve amendment number 1? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item B is the adopt a resolution of program of projects for the federal fiscal year 2022 and the federal fiscal year 2023, section 5310 program funding for seniors and individuals with disabilities for the Oklahoma City urbanized area.
Yep. So this item, if you remember, over the past few months, we've been going through the process of standing up our 5310 program, which allows us to basically take in the dollars that were originally allocated to ODOT for distribution. We now have taken over that program, and this allows us to manage those dollars and have them distributed to the different agencies. And so this item really identifies that those list of projects. And then just to remember, our process is we wanted to make sure that we identified a group of folks that outside of Embark that takes a look at those projects to identify which ones are allowed to continue to move forward. We've followed that process, and so with their review and approval has now moved this list of projects to our board for approval. The majority of the projects are revenue vehicles, so a lot of the rural agencies are starting to see their revenue vehicles get past the useful life, and so these monies will go toward those revenue vehicles.
Okay, are there any questions or comments about item B? If not, is there a motion to adopt? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item C is the approval of a mutual termination of lease with the Oklahoma Humanities Council for premises located at 424 Colcord Drive, Suite E, Oklahoma City, retroactive effective July 31st, 2025.
Yeah, so the Oklahoma Humanities Council, they previously were in one of our spaces just across the street here with our Arts District garage, and they have continued to grow, and they outgrew the space, and so they worked with Corey, and we came up with this understanding for them to be able to move out of the space, effectively terminating their lease early. And but they've been a great partner with us, and so we wanted to make sure that we continue that partnership with them and good standings. So this is approving that mutual termination of their lease.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? It's a good organization. I wish them well in
Yep.
a new location. Hopefully we can lease that space quickly.
Absolutely.
So is there a motion to approve item C? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item D is to approve amendment number 1 and change order number 1 with Terra Construction for the Embark parking garage inspection and repairs for various locations with a cost increase of $43,036.90.
If you remember last month, we awarded the contract for Terra Construction, and they immediately got to work, and they've been working in several of our garages. They started initially in Century Center Garage, and they've been really getting after it, and we're seeing a lot of progress there. Corey will actually be able to provide some updates to some of the progress that we're seeing in our garages with these changes. With this amendment and change order, the main takeaway here is a quantity change. We saw a quantity change of about $30,000 that went toward additional caulking. So if you remember, that is basically caulking is what allows us to fill in cracks. And so it's concrete, and as concrete settles, you typically see some of that separation, and so this caulking comes in and fills that in. And so what that does is we want to make sure the last thing you want specifically with a concrete garage is a large opening in the concrete and then water to intrude into that opening and then it freeze, because then that just creates more damage later, and so this prevents that.
Okay, are there any comments or questions about this item?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that on the change order, it's reflected at the correct amount. I think there's either a decimal missing or one too many zeros on the change order, where it talks about the corroded angle X bracing. So just to make sure that we have that fixed there.
Okay.
Okay,
So do we need to?
I'm sure it's, that decking is something that with each passing month, maybe it gets a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And so the project expands
That's right.
until we can get it all fixed.
Yep, exactly. Thank you.
Okay, is there a motion to approve amendment number 1 and change order number 1? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item E is to approve the professional services agreement with the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company for tire leasing on a mileage basis, including related on-site tire service and support at an estimated annual cost of $422,642.45 for the term of August 1st, 2025 through July 31st, 2030.
So this item, we normally have this under consent, but I wanted to make sure that I had an opportunity to talk about this item because to me, it's kind of interesting. So a lot of folks don't know, but we actually lease our tires, right? So, you know, if you think about your personal vehicle, you go out and you buy a set of tires, but when you operate nearly 100 buses, that's a lot of tires. So I just wanted to kind of talk about this item. So this, so we have folks that, part of this contract, that every night they go out and they look at every single one of our buses. They look at every single one of our tires to make sure the tread depth is correct. We have special tires because our buses, as they're approaching a bus stop, they get really, really close to the curb. And so the thickness on the sidewalls of our tires are extra, extra thick, but we still have to monitor that to make sure that they're not getting past their wear cycle. But this item allows the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company to continue that process and to make sure that our vehicles are safe and reliable when it comes to tires.
Okay, are there any questions or comments? Is there a motion then to approve this professional services agreement? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item F is to approve the professional services agreement with Woodridge Enterprises, DBA Stratus Building Solutions to provide clean and well-maintained streetcars and facilities. Estimated annual cost of $198,000 from September 5th, 2025 through September 4th, 2028.
Stratus Building Solutions has been a longtime partner with the OKC Streetcar. Previously, they held a contract with Herzog Transit, and they've been cleaning our facilities, our streetcars, and our platforms really since 2019. And so we've had a really, really good relationship with them, with us assuming responsibilities and bringing streetcar in-house. We wanted to continue that, and so we've been working with Stratus Building Solutions. A RFP went out, and they were the best and lowest bidder, unfortunately for us, and so we want to continue that partnership with them. And again, they will continue the cleaning services of the facilities, the building, the streetcar maintenance facility, the platforms, and our streetcars.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve this personal services agreement? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item G is to approve amendment number 1 and change order number 2 with Cade Construction for the Embark Administrative Building renovation cost of $51,925.56.
So we continue construction and the remodel of our South May facility. A reminder, that's nearly 20,000 square feet of office space that we're currently remodeling to make better use of the space for our current staffing. And we are continuing through that process. Amendment number 1 and change order number 2 is an increase of $51,000. The main item on this is about $30,000 to increase the water line size. So as we were going through the process, we identified that the current water line going into the building wasn't large enough to be able to support the changes in the building, so this item increases that water line size, plus other small ancillary items.
Okay. Any questions or comments? Glad this project is moving along.
Yes, yep.
We'll get you back down there. Is there a motion to approve? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion adopted. Item H is to approve the agreement and adoption of resolution for sole source agreement with Brookville Equipment Corporation to be the sole source provider for purchase of supplies, replacement parts, and batteries for the Oklahoma streetcars. Estimated cost for the fiscal year 2026 of $1,856,902, September 5th, 2025 through September 4th, 2030.
Yep. Brookville Equipment Corporation is the original equipment manufacturer for our OKC streetcars. We've had that relationship with Brookville since around 2015 when we signed the original contract to purchase the Brookville streetcars. We've continued that relationship, and again, the original contract for parts and supplies was with Herzog Transit, and then again, as we've assumed that operation, we went through the process of getting a contract with them ourselves. So the main items, again, are supplies, replacement parts, and batteries. So you'll notice the $1.8 million over the next 5 years. So the battery equipment on streetcars, their useful life was originally scheduled to be 5 years. And if you remember, we really started using the streetcars in early of 2018. So we are essentially past that useful life, but thankfully to the staff that maintain our streetcars, we've been able to really extend that useful life of those batteries and really take really good care of our streetcars. But it is time to start looking at the replacement of those batteries, and Brookville is the supplier for those batteries.
So the $1.8 million is anticipated for next year?
It gives us the budget authority to replace those batteries over the next couple of years.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, that sounds good. Any other questions or comments? If not, is there a motion to approve the agreement? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item 7 on our agenda is the ratification of claims and payroll for a period of June 18th through July 22nd. Is there any, are you ready for this one? Okay. I was gonna say, are there any questions or comments about this item? If not, is there a motion to ratify? Been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Item 8 is to receive our financial reports, which is the COPTA schedule of revenue and expenses budget to actual for the month ending July 31st.
Chairman, if we can go ahead and vote to receive the financial reports, and then we can also go ahead and vote to receive the program reports.
You want to do that before the
Yeah.
presentations? Okay. Is there a motion to receive our financial reports? It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. This is on the financial reports. Motion passes. And then we're also going to take a vote on receiving our program reports. And we're doing this because we possibly will lose a quorum before we can complete these. So is there a motion to receive our financial reports?
Program reports.
It's been moved and seconded. Please vote electronically. Motion passes. Okay, now we're going to talk about our financial reports.
Good morning. This morning, we're going to go over our financial reports for the month ending July 31st, 2025. This is just 1 month into the new fiscal year, so I'm going to keep this very high level. As a reminder, the books for FY25 have not been closed yet, so the fund balances that you see on the reports might shift slightly over the next couple of months, but it's nothing significant, nothing to worry about. So starting off, we're going to look at our transportation operating unit. The revenues exceeded our expenditures by $1.7 million. Our year-to-date revenue is $5.2 million, which exceeds the budget by $28,000 or 1%. And our year-to-date expenditures are $3.5 million, which are under budget by $279,000 or 7%. So starting with the revenues, I want to point out something here. There's a new category called fare revenue. So in prior years, you may recall we had 2 different categories for fares, which included fare box and fare media sales. We've actually combined these to create this new category. The report shows we collected $253,000 in July. However, not noted on the report are additional $94,000 in revenues that were received in July, but unrecognized at the time this report was ran. Those revenues will show on next month's report. So taking that into account, our actual revenues for July is $347,000, which is $20,000 less than prior fiscal year. The decrease is from bulk sale orders during our half price sale, which you'll hear from Armando shortly. Moving on to expenses, you can see we came in under budget in all of our lines except for our personnel services, but overall we came in 7% under budget for our expenses. In parking operations, our revenues exceeded our expenditures by $266,000. Our year-to-date revenues are $468,000, which are under budget by $59,000 or 11%, and our year-to-date expenses are $202,000, which are under budget by $11,000 or 5%. So I wanted to point out something in our event and transient revenue lines. For July, we had several special events, including the usual Red, White, and Boom event, PBR, and OKC HorrorCon. We had some new events this year with the Oklahoma Indian Gaming Association's Conference and Trade Show, as well as the Shane Gillis Comedy Show and the Oklahoma Special Education Conference. Overall, special events and transient parking brought in $196,000 for the month of July, which is down $66,000 from last year. Last year, we had a couple of really big events in July that we didn't see this year. That's going to include the Olivia Rodrigo concert and Unicorn World. Overall, we are just over 1,000 less event parkers in July compared to last fiscal year. This had an overall impact on our total revenue, placing us 11% under budget. Moving on to expenses, I wanted to point out a negative expense in our parking management. So you might be questioning why there's a negative amount here. So this line includes electricity for our monthly lease payments. So when we create an invoice for our leases, it actually creates a negative amount here in our expenses. But then when we actually pay the invoice for that expense, it is a positive amount, so it washes that expense away. In the footnote of the report, you're going to see that we have unrecorded expenses of $326,000 to PCI. So once that payment is booked, it will cover that electricity amount along with any other costs that we owe them. Then looking at river cruises, our revenue exceeds our expenditures by $87,000. Our year-to-date revenues are $92,000, which exceeds budget by $7,000 or 9%. And our year-to-date expenditures are $5,000, which are under budget by $3,000 or 36%. So looking at revenues for our general fares, specialty cruises, and charters, they have a year-to-date budget of $9,000, and our year-to-date actuals were just under $15,000. We budgeted conservatively because, as Administrator Rush mentioned last month, the river is only partially accessible. And as you can see, we still did better than we had originally anticipated, but revenue is still down around $5,000 compared to prior fiscal year. Accessibility issues weren't the only thing impacting those numbers. In July, we saw heavy rainfall, which flooded the river, causing us to cancel 2 specialty cruises and 2 charters. So that accounts for about half of that negative variance. Overall, we exceeded our revenue budget by $7,000 or 9%. As for our expenses, we came in significantly under budget, partially due to the way we were forecasting. So if you compare our overall expenses, including the $73,000 of unrecorded expenses in the footnote, the total expenses from the prior fiscal year, there really wasn't much of an overall difference in our expenses. We will continue to work on our forecasting to fix this projection going forward. And then for our streetcar operations, our revenues exceed our expenditures by $206,000. Our year-to-date revenues are $568,000, which exceeds our budget by $7,000 or 1%, and our year-to-date expenditures are $362,000, which are under budget by $83,000 or 19%. And that really concludes my presentation for the day. I'll take any questions you guys might have.
Are there any questions or comments about our financials? Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, we're going to move on to our program reports, and we'll move into marketing and community engagement reports. Armando?
Hi, good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
It's my pleasure to provide an update of the team's activity from Public Affairs, the work that we've done over the last quarter. Get started with our community engagement group. We've been busy out in the community. We attended 11 events over the last quarter. We attended the Downtown Employee Appreciation event, which had over 750 attendees over at Kerr Park earlier this summer. In July, we attended the first ever Diversion Hub Employment Fair at the Spring Lake Metro Tech campus, where we had a few hundred folks there that, again, got to learn more about our services. And in late July and August, we spent a lot of our focus out in the community talking and preparing for back to school and getting the message out about our Hall Pass program. So we attended a number of events where we reached over 4,000 parents and students. So we were at the Latino Community Development Agency event, the Oklahoma City Public Schools events at Douglas and Grant High School. And then we also were recently last week at the OCU on-campus back-to-school event. So our team has been out in the community, busy trying to get the word out about Hall Pass and also just about our services in general. And then we've also wanted to note, been participating with other city departments, attending events, tablings at the Mexican consulate. Again, having an opportunity to talk to a different audience about our services and making them aware of the benefits of public transit available to them here in Oklahoma City. So as I mentioned, we spent a lot of our time in the community talking about Hall Pass. We also did a concerted effort to get the message out to the community through public relations. And so we were featured in the news on all of the major stations in the market. We had a total of 34 media mentions, reaching a total audience of over 2.8 million, and combined added value public relations dollars of $295,000 through those mentions and inclusions. And let's see here. And you can see Jesse and I both got to be in a few of the interviews, and they also interviewed some students locally on OETA to cover the story. With this information,
year-round and
sorry, video.
Embark says this is a safe way for children to get where they need to go.
This Hall Pass allows students to use it. All right, we got some technical difficulties there, sorry. So overall, we saw an increase of 300 new applicants through our public relation effort. So Hall Pass has been a program that's been around for a few years, supported by the board, and we've continued to see really double-digit growth in the program over the last 2 fiscal years. So our goal going into this public relations push was to get close to 500 applicants to get us closer to 1,000 registered applicants in the program, and we're almost there. So we're going to continue to push this. Greg Singleton from our community engagement team has been working with Oklahoma City Public Schools, and we're working to continue to do train-the-trainer events with the public schools to, again, get that information out to administrators so that it can then get down to students and households. Yes, sir, Chairman.
Is this just high school age?
No,
on the
sir.
bus
This is
stop?
for youth. Great question. This is for youth 18 and under. So we really want youth 12 to 18 to complete the registration process so they can receive their ID in addition to the actual pass. But it's open to all youth, regardless of educational enrollment, that kind of thing. It's just proof of age.
Okay.
Great question. All right. Going to try to get to the next slide and give an update on business development. So as Christina was mentioning, our half-price sales, our first semi-annual or biannual sale was in July. And so last year we really set the bar high with our bulk pass program. Last year we had bulk pass sales of 196,000, and so this year we still had a great year, but we fell about that $20,000 difference. And so what we're seeing is a lot of our partners in the community are filling those tight budgets this time of year, and so we're hoping to, again, continue to build those relationships and make that number up in December to try to exceed our total from last year. But overall, we had a great sale. Through our mobile application with Token Transit, we sold $21,000 in fare revenue, and also at the transit center, we had $38,000 in sales. So we continue to see small growth there, but our biggest avenue of growth over the last 3 sales has been our bulk pass program. So again, working with those community partners like Team and Homeless Alliance to build a relationship, give them additional time to find their funding and place their order to make sure that they're maximizing the value of their dollar to help those clients that they have in the community that need our services. Also this year, we've done a partnership to help promote the Oklahoma City streetcar in conjunction with the Oklahoma City Comets. We have been a sponsor there promoting the streetcar throughout the year through a marketing partnership. This features 2 activations, our Race to the Ballpark and our Streetcar Smarts, which is an interactive trivia game where fans are selected to answer some questions about the streetcar and the destinations along the route. And the winners receive either Comets Cash, which can be used for food and beverage, or they receive transit passes complimentary through our partnership. And the team has done a great job of putting together a little mascot ride-along, so I will try to play this video next. Let's see here. So just a fun little video for us to help highlight the partnership and promote on our, cross-promote on both social media channels for each organization. And it's that time of year in September where we start start talking about the Oklahoma State Fair. And so I wanted to highlight some changes to our service to help folks get to the fair. The fair runs from September 11th through the 21st. And we are extending service on Route 9 and Route 38 to help provide service past 7 p.m. For folks that want to stay at the fair later. In the last few years, we've had different options for that, but this feels like the best option to, again, help connect folks on routes that we have existing that go near the fair. And we also will provide a slight modification to the route that allows for drop-off and pickup right outside of Gate 3. So it's dropping you right on the property. So again, it's fast and convenient. And so we put together some of the marketing material here to help promote the service, but also information that's at the transit center. So if you're going to the fair, you know when the last bus is going there and when you need to plan to get on the bus to come back to the transit center. And the second part, or offering that we're doing at the State Fair this year, is a special cross promotion with the, again, State Fair to provide service for Senior Day Shuttle. So on Wednesday, September 17th, that's Senior Day at the fair, and so they're expecting a large turnout. And to help that older population of attendee, we'll provide a shuttle from Hurricane Harbor directly to that same drop-off at Gate 3. So the idea is that those older folks that may have some mobility challenges and need the extra assistance can park on a flat surface lot, get on our bus, and then get dropped off conveniently at the gate rather than having to park in the grass and walk a long distance to then go onto the fairgrounds. So this is the first year that we'll do this, but this is in partnership with the State Fair directly. So if you're a fan of Elvis impersonators, I hear there's one on this evening, so you'll find me there. And then just in closing, wanted to highlight that the ribbon cutting event for the First American Museum landing will be on our next report. That event is this coming Monday. The Thunder season is right around the corner, so our Thunder Game Day Shuttle service will begin October 21st is the first home game, but there are 2 preseason games before that. And then we're hosting our, I believe, 13th annual Community Health Fair at the Transit Center on October 23rd. So if you need that flu shot, come on down. We'll get you taken care of. We'll have a variety of vendors there to help provide services to our transit riders. And then we'll provide an update at our next December presentation on our Downtown December promotion. That's something that we'll continue this year in our part of the Downtown in December events for free streetcar ridership on the weekend. So that's been a great promotion for us in the past, and look forward to continuing that this year. And that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions for Armando? Thank you. Next presentation is our parking services report. Corey?
We will talk about concrete and potholes today. First, revenue, the funner part of my job. Hourly and daily parkers for July, you can see they're very comparable year over year. Things slow down in our summer during those categories, but they remain positive. Event, as Christina commented on, fell off a little bit in July. We can serve the events, but we cannot control the events that come to town. Thank heavens, that seems like a very, very big job. Contract parkers, we've talked about that in past months. What's happened here is we're finally seeing, well, they started dropping off when we transitioned out of Cox. And then we've had some more people, ones and twos, ma's and pa's, that have moved on to different things. No major groups are represented in that group of parkers. It is a cyclical thing. Overall, we're looking good. Our monthly or our total customers are down mostly because of that event traffic. But on to the funner part of things for me, concrete repairs. You know, Jesse commented about the potholes. When the water gets into a crack in the road, it freezes, it becomes a pothole. Very similar in parking garages. They're just fancy bridges, so to speak. So we have not gone back and painted over, but you can see where we've cut out some spalling concrete, went in, cleaned up the rust off of the rebar and whatnot, and then patched it. Oops. Here's a close-up picture where we removed quite a bit of concrete, cleaned up the rebar. Same thing here on a knee wall. Here, this is where we're actually, those are straws that you see there. They're little plastic straws that we're injecting epoxy into it to, after cleaning it up and routing it and sealing it back up to prevent other damage. It's kind of nice. This is of the Sheridan Walker garage where we're spending money, where it may seem it'll be a couple $100,000 that we'll spend in this garage, but you wait a few more years and it's a couple of million. So really appreciate you guys allowing us to have the funding to keep these garages up, because in the industry, when you see me at another city come across a couple $1 million repairs, it's always followed by Armando cleaning up the media. So thank you for allowing us to prevent this. The garages are completely healthy and safe. We're being proactive here. Here where we're replacing some mortar in the grout in the center block walls. We've gone in and we've cleaned up, we've cut the weatherproofing on the roof of the garage, cleaned it all up, and then we'll be putting some more weatherproofing on there. Again, proactive preventative maintenance. I didn't take pictures of every area, just giving you a sampling. Here's where we had deep concrete patching is how we refer to this work. We saw some spalling or a pothole beginning. We went in, we saw cut it, we've gone in. They will come back and clean all the rebar, the rust off of the rebar, put a sealant on it, and then patch it with concrete. Again, proactive work. Here's a much more significant one where we're still removing the concrete carefully. If you look very closely at the bottom of the image, you can see some markings where we're identifying the post-tension cable. That's the really taut cable that's stretched out to prevent us from cutting that. But that's work in progress. Here's some finished work. Here's that diagram that I was showing you. The red marking in the upper portion of the screen, that is a cut rebar, or I'm sorry, a cut post-tension cable. We got ahead of the X-ray machine and we cut a cable, not life-threatening, not super serious, because we caught it. We're repairing it, but we did find some. 3 others so far in the Sheridan Walker garage that have just plain and simple failed due to age, which will be a change order / amendment. That's parking report. Any questions, comments, concerns?
Anybody have any questions or comments? No? I appreciate the update.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, those are our presentations under our program reports, and so we'll move on to items from the trustees. Angela, you survived your first meeting, so thank you. Robert, anything? Jesse, would you like to say anything?
Of course, yeah, I'd love to. So a couple of things. So we should let the record show that we lost quorum at 9:30, just for the record. A couple other things. So I did want to point out that in our consent docket, we had an item, the RICO parking agreement. And just wanted to draw a little bit of attention to that. So that is a pretty standard item. We do that every single year, and we've been doing it really ever since the OKC Thunder have come to town. And what that allows us to do is we have a contract with the RICO group who owns the surface lots just west of the Paycom Center. And we lease spaces there during those Thunder games. And Corey and the team, they work with the group and negotiate a price every year. And that item allows us to continue that agreement with the RICO group. The important thing to note there is that we get fully reimbursed by the city for that. So we pay RICO, and it's a full cost recovery for us. So we're happy to continue that agreement. And then a couple of housekeeping items as far as my end. So I misstated the reason for the humanities agreement, why they are moving out. So it wasn't actually due to growth, it was actually due to loss of federal funding. And so they were no longer able to continue to maintain that lease. And then looking ahead, so I did want to point out that we continue working toward wrapping up our long-range transit plan. And we anticipate bringing an item for the board to receive that long-range transit plan. Again, this is really setting the stage for the next 30 years of public transit in Oklahoma City. Chip Nolan and the team have been working closely with our planning engineer there to really get that wrapped up. And again, we look to be receiving that report soon. ACOG will be adopting the report, and then basically puts it into rotation for us. And then finally, Armando had mentioned the ribbon cutting for the FAM landing, the First Americans Museum landing. That is 9 a.m. It's really a joint ribbon cutting, so we'll be joined with the MAPS 4 folks who built the pedestrian bridge across the river. I'm looking forward to hearing remarks from Chairman during that ribbon cutting, and looking forward to seeing as many people as we can there.
That's great.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, we appreciate you all coming today, and without any further business, we're adjourned. Thank you.